You are watching No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and these are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? I'll tell you what it's driving me crazy. Aunt Becky's daughter. Yes, Lori Loughlin's daughter. Her name is Olivia Jade Giannulli. She is the daughter of not only Lori Loughlin, but also the designer Massimo Giannulli. If you've been shopping for clothes at Target over the years, you've probably bought some of his stuff. They don't carry his line anymore, but he made zillions off of just that. And of course, she made mega millions off of a very long TV career. So she is in jail, Lori Loughlin, and her daughter, the social media influencer, Olivia Jade Giannulli, the one who was the beneficiary of the scam, which was the reason that Lori Loughlin went to jail, she decided to make an appearance and apologize. Now, what was she apologizing for? Well, she is apologizing for not the college scam, but for white privilege. And who did she apologize to? Well, she went on the podcast Red Table that is run by 3 generations of the Pinkett Smith family. Yes, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Jada Pinkett Smith's mother and her daughter, Willow. And I watched this podcast where basically she apologized over and over again for white privilege, and they lorded over her, and they said, oh, because we're black people, we're not privileged. And they said this from their $42 million mansion. Yes, the Pinkett Smith $42 million mansion. And I watched 20 out of the 30 minutes of this. After the first 20 minutes, I just couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to vomit. So I stopped. But I got you some clips. I want you to take a look at all these clips that I picked out.
We are about to meet with a young lady, Olivia Jade. A lot of people are going to have a lot of opinions about her story. She called and wanted to come to our table. And we all had very different feelings about it.
Yeah. You know, I fought it tooth and nail. I just found it really ironic that she chose 3 black women to reach out to for her redemption story. I feel like here we are, a white woman coming to black women for support when we don't get the same from them. It's just... It's bothersome to me on so many levels. Her being here is the epitome of white privilege to me.
I understand where you're coming from, but let me just be clear. I never want to be the thing that was done to me by white women. I never want to be that.
Okay.
I also believe the repercussions throughout this whole situation, because you're a beautiful, young, white woman who's been born into privilege, right?
Exactly.
And so there would be some people that would feel like, she'll be fine. Like,
I feel that way.
Right.
Clearly.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like you will be fine.
Right.
Yes, I guess just from looking as an outsider, you could say I lost brand deals, or I lost followers, or whatever it was. But I really felt most moved by the fact that we did all of this and we're so ignorant. And I feel like a huge part of having privilege is not knowing you have privilege.
Right.
And so when it was happening, it didn't feel wrong. It didn't feel like, that's not fair. A lot of people don't have that. I was in my own little bubble, focusing about my comfortable world.
Right.
But I never had to look outside of that bubble.
Right.
But I also...
Let me ask you if you have a clear understanding of what white privilege really is now.
I understand that just based off my skin color, I already had my foot in the door and I was already ahead of everybody else.
Right.
I think
Right.
100% I can recognize that. Going forward, I do want to do stuff to change that and to help that. And I had a really cool experience a few weeks back where I went downtown in the Watts area and I got to work with some kids in this after-school program. And it was kind of just shifted my whole mentality, because when I was sitting with them and talking to them, and they all were so little, but they were so grateful for that education, that after-school place that they could go away from their neighborhood to come back and have a little freedom and focus on their schoolwork.
Right.
And I was watching all of them and I was thinking about my situation, and that I took all of that for granted. I didn't think that I was lucky to have that. I just expected it because that's what I grew up around. So it was a big shift in my head knowing like, okay, let's kind of start recognizing where the wrongs are in that. I was looking for something to work with because I haven't been doing much, and I'm like, I want to work with something and feel good, and I want to give back.
You want to give back.
Yeah.
To children who aren't as privileged.
Exactly, and putting time into it too. And I'm just at the beginning, and I want to continue doing stuff and finding more things to do, but not just throw money at a problem, you know? Like I want to invest myself so I can start to
giving
understand.
your time.
Yeah, I don't
Understand why different people in the community would be upset. Do you have any understanding of why I would be upset at your being here and what you all did?
I would also
and the
love
harm
to
that
hear
it
it from
caused?
you because I feel like it's a good learning thing. I think I can understand how wrong it is, and we had the means to do something and we completely took it and ran with it, and it was something that was wrong. And
It's like there is so much violent dehumanization that the Black community has to go through on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right? There is so much devastation, particularly this year, 2020, with the pandemic and everything being brought to the table, just how there's so much
Inequality.
inequality and inequity. That when you come to the table with something like this, it's like, child, please.
right. No, I get that.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with everything that we have to deal with as a community, and I just don't have the energy to put into the fact that you lost your endorsements.
Right.
You know, or you're not in school right now.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to be okay because your parents are going to go in and they're going to do their 60 days and they're going to pay their fine, and you guys will go on and you'll be okay and you will live your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so many of us that it is not going to be that situation.
Yeah.
It just makes it very difficult right now for me to care.
I totally
And
understand
this,
that.
no, but it's going to require your willingness to do some education on your own and to really understand white privilege and what's happening in the world today.
Yeah.
I didn't come on here to like try and win people over and say, oh, I really need people to like me. I just want to apologize for contributing to these social inequalities without maybe not, even though I didn't realize it at the time, like being able to come here and recognize that I'm aware.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And that's all we can ask. Listen.
All right. That's the sound of me throwing up because we're watching the daughter of multimillionaires talking to 2 out of 3 of those women at that table are multimillionaires, and they're lecturing her about social inequity and inequalities, and they're telling her she has to do more work because she's white. First of all, 2 of those women, their skin is not that much darker than her skin. That's number 1. Number 2, and again, I'm going to repeat this. They were sitting, you saw that mansion at the beginning of this tape. That's a $42 million mansion. It sits on the hidden hills of Calabasas. So she is a neighbor of, they are neighbors of the Kardashians and Justin Bieber. All right. And they're talking to anybody about, I'm exhausted or social inequalities. Are you kidding me? Are you real? Are you serious? This just makes me sick. All right. When we come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about the Smith family, some of the things they've been up to and how disgusting that makes this. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Howdy, folks. It's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Boston breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline hamburger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a cum roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Yeah, shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Beck Communications is honored to be recently recognized with 3 Broadband Now awards. Beck Communications Cooperative was awarded in the categories of Top Internet Speeds Nationwide, Top 3 Fastest Internet Providers in North Dakota, and North Dakota's #1 Fastest Fiber Provider. It's only through the support of our members and customers that Beck Fiber delivers award-winning speeds and service. Thank you, Beck Communications Cooperative members and customers, for your years of continued support.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at AccordSleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So before the break, I showed you a few clips that I picked out of the 20 minutes of the half an hour of that video podcast that I watched, where the daughter of Lori Loughlin and designer Massimo Giannulli apologized over and over again for her skin color to the very wealthy, very privileged Jada Pinkett Smith, her mother, whose name is Adrienne Banfield Morris, and her daughter Willow Smith. Just really disgusting. You know, talk about white privilege. Let me just tell you something. We saw on that podcast the epitome of black privilege. They live in that $42 million mansion. Let me tell you about their net worths. Will Smith is worth $350 million. Is that white privilege? No. Jada Pinkett Smith is worth $50 million. She's a former drug dealer, all right? She's an admitted former drug dealer. There are a lot of people who are dying to make it into acting, who are white, who've never been a drug dealer, who've been law-abiding citizens, have worked hard all their lives to make money, not by selling drugs to kids, which is what she did. They don't make $50 million or even $5 million, or even they're struggling to make $5 right now. And she's sitting at that table, lording it over this other girl because she's the daughter of privilege. They are all privileged at that table. That whole discussion, all of those people nauseate me. All right, so that's Jada Pinkett Smith. The daughter that you saw, her name is Willow. She is worth $6 million. Her brother, Jaden Smith, and she's 20 years old, worth $6 million. That is more than the average American will ever make in their lifetime. And she's worth that at age 20. She was worth that at age 10 or 15, and I'll tell you why in a second. She had that song, Whip My Hair, at age 10. That was a hit song. Somebody wrote it for her. She got to make a video. She got a record deal. Do you think she got that because she's white? No, no, no. But she did get it because she's black and because she's the daughter of the Smiths. Do you know of any white girls that had a hit song and a record contract and a modeling contract at age 10? I don't think you can find any. Maybe there's one white girl in the history of America that has had a record deal and a hit song and videos and all of that at age 10, but maybe only one. I've never heard of any. All right, so they're lecturing about white privilege. They're black privilege. The brother, the Jaden Smith, her Willow's brother, and the son of Jada Pinkett Smith and the grandson of Adrienne Banfield Morris, the woman that was all upset and all down with the struggle over there, he's worth $8 million. He has a modeling contract. Do you think any of this is because of their God-given talent? No. Hell no. This is because they're black and they're the black children of the Smith family. So to sit there and hear them talk about white privilege, it's disgusting, it's fraud, and it's a con. It is a con. Now, let's talk about black privilege. If you look at that list of all of these rich white parents who paid off, they gave money to these fake charities and faked their kids' talents in sports and other activities to get into semi-prestigious colleges and universities. Except for one, out of dozens and dozens of sets of parents, except for one, they're all white. There's one set of parents where the father's name sounds Hispanic, and he's probably Mexican or Spanish, I don't know. But everybody on that list is white. There are no blacks on that list. Why? Because rich black families don't have to pay off anyone to get their kids into prestigious universities. All those kids have to do is check that box. Check that box that they are African American. They get affirmative action. That's called black privilege. And there's also Hispanic privilege for that too. So this is just a lot of baloney. A lot of baloney about this white privilege. All right, this girl, Olivia Jade Giannulli, she is not the average white person. We know that. Does the average white person anywhere in America have the kind of access that she does to sponsors, to becoming a social media influencer? Does the average American girl or guy have parents who are multi-millionaires, live in a giant mansion like that mansion? Her parents live in a giant mansion too. I think they just sold it for like $85 million. But does the average person live like that? No. None of these people represent America. Yes, they have privilege, but it has nothing to do with race. Nothing. Do you think the average white male farm boy in North Dakota, in the Jamestown area or somewhere else, do you think they have white privilege to do all the things that any of the people at that table do? Hell no. This is just absurd. It is false. All right, and I want to tell you a little bit more. So this woman, Adrienne Banfield Morris, has now also herself raked in tens of thousands of dollars for doing this podcast. She ever done anything in her life other than acting like an angry woman in that video? No. She has the luck that her former drug dealer daughter, she had to know her daughter was a drug dealer. Her former drug dealer daughter and her son-in-law, that they had successful acting careers. You know what? There are, as I said, plenty of white people, plenty of white actors / model / waitresses and waiters that are waiting tables right now in LA. Many of them far more talented than any of those three. Many of them far better looking, and they're not the right skin color. They're not hip. They're not hip hop. They're not Will Smith. They're not married to Will Smith. So this is just baloney. Now, the daughter, Willow Smith, was interviewed by E! News, and she said that she agrees that Olivia will be fine because she's white, and that white privilege serves her redemption more than financial privilege. Are you serious? Again, look at that house that they're in. These people are a bunch of phonies. They're a bunch of liars. Now, to hear them talk about how I'm exhausted, the pandemic made everything worse for black people, do they look worse off? No. You know who it made it worse off? For a lot of white people, too. It has nothing to do with race. That's just wrong. It's just false. Now, I looked at some of my comments on Facebook because I posted some of these comments that they made. And here's what some of my Facebook followers said. And I think these are all on the money. So they said about Olivia Jade Giannulli, my rebranding consultant says to blame white privilege. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then somebody else said if she really had white privilege, it wouldn't have cost anything to get into college. Her whiteness or her celebrity status would have gotten her admission, but her parents paid $500,000 to get into a school she didn't even want to attend, and that's exactly right. Not only that, but the mother was sentenced to jail for something that universities do themselves, which is sell places at their schools, and that's absolutely true. We know that people donate directly to universities all the time to get their kids in, and they don't go to prison for that. The reason these parents went to prison is they lied and they committed fraud about their kids' talents so that they could pay less to fake charities than they would have had to donate to these universities to get their kids in. So everybody's hypocritical in this situation. The Justice Department are hypocrites, the government's hypocrites, the universities are hypocrites, and all of these people are hypocrites. All right. So enough of these people talking about basically rich people problems that have nothing to do with race. When we come back, I'm going to show you a video of an office holder who said that Trump supporters were threatening her. She makes a video threatening our lives. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck, featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together to get our kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep Bismarck safe, strong, and resilient. A community task force has been launched to slow the spread of COVID-19 in our community. We're all in this together. Protect yourself and others by doing your part. Wear a mask when you're out and about, and slow the spread of COVID-19. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
Everybody needs an off-season, but our announcers have a tough time slowing down.
Incredible! For the second time today, Brent has jammed the printer.
Really tough time.
He swiftly brings it down the lane, and he carries it down the stairway. And he finishes with a slam.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So you've probably seen this Michigan legislator frequently on the media in the last week or so since Rudy Giuliani, had the hearings in Michigan about election fraud. The woman that was very, very critical of him was State Representative Cynthia Johnson. She's a member of the Democratic Party. She is frequently on TV in the Detroit area in Michigan because she's not only a big Trump critic, she's a far leftist extremist. She was filming herself dancing up and down on November 7th on the streets of Detroit, the day that Joe Biden declared himself the president-elect. She also attacked, not physically but verbally, protesters who were protesting what was going on at the TCF Center in Detroit when they were counting votes, and they covered up the windows so people couldn't film and they couldn't see what was going on. She's not really the martyr she wants to pretend that she is. So she's been on TV a lot now saying that she's getting death threats. She also, by the way, was lampooned over the weekend on Saturday Night Live. She wasn't really the one lampooned. Of course, the Trump supporter was the one lampooned, a woman by the name of Melissa Carone, but there was somebody that played her as well. Well, so she says, oh, I've been getting threats, oh, these Trump supporters are violent, this is horrible. Guess who's the violent one? Guess who really should play the martyr? Us. And look who's the violent one. Watch this.
So this is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. We ain't playing with you. Enough of the shenanigans. Enough is enough. And for those of you who are soldiers, you know how to do it. Do it right. Be in order. Make them pay. I love y'all. Bye-bye.
So what exactly does she mean by that? Tread lightly, and to those of you who are soldiers, you know how to do it, make them pay? What is she saying? Is she talking to the soldiers who are serving in our military? No. We know what she's calling for. She is calling for violence, and that was not so veiled. She's calling for violence against people who disagree with her. She does not like people who support the president. She does not like people who are conservative. She does not like people who are anywhere to the right of far, far left of center. And she wants violence against us. That was a call to violence. In any other day or age, she would be called upon by her own party, the Democrat Party, to resign. And she probably would be charged with attempting to incite a riot. But not today. Now, if a white person had said that, maybe that would happen to them. A black person, especially now, where anything far left, no matter how violent it is, goes. We've had protests looting our country for months, destroying businesses for months, police officers being murdered for months. That's okay. So that's okay too, what she has said. Just really outrageous, but there is a double standard in America. And no matter how outrageous it is, anybody far left and anybody who is a minority can get away with it. If you are conservative, just forget about it. If you're white, forget about it. Now, speaking of race, I want you to watch this video. This is Jemele Hill. Now, Jemele Hill, we've talked about on this show before. She has gotten anywhere and everywhere only by dint of the color of her skin. She is a talentless hack. She was a Detroit Free Press sports reporter. Everything is about race with her. Everybody's racist. And she is a race baiter. She is a race pimp. And because of that, she's gone all the way up. She got a contract with ESPN. She hosts a show on ESPN. She has a very highly paid video podcast she does that is crap. She is also on the staff of The Atlantic. She does a lot of things and gets paid by a lot of organizations that would never tolerate the kind of racism that she spews against white people in the reverse if it was a white person directing it at black people. And further, she hates America. She sends out stupid tweets, and we talked about this on the show, about how America is worse than the Nazis and Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. And it's so worse than the Nazis, it's so bad that that's why she's a multi-millionaire today. Multi-millionaire because of all this media stuff. But America is so racist and so bad, it's like the Holocaust. And I've told you, my grandparents were in the Holocaust. They are survivors. They were survivors. They passed away. But they were survivors of the camps. And most of both sides of my family were wiped out by the Nazis because they were Jewish. What she compares America to that, when she does that, that just makes me sick. America has never done anything of the sort. America is not like that. We are the greatest country on earth. And watching this next video, it's just laughable. She is talking to Jake Paul, who recently was in a celebrity boxing match against Nate Robinson, and he won. So watch this.
To be honest, I almost started to protest this show because
why?
I'll tell you why. And this is our question of the week. We saw what happened to Nate Robinson, so I'm going to ask Jake Paul right here in front of America. Jake, considering where we are right now in our racial conversation in America, was what you did to Nate Robinson racist?
That is the question of the week.
Man.
Nah, stop playing with me. Come on.
Listen, Jake, it's a sensitive time right now. We just had to witness a white man just knock a black man smooth out in front of all of America. So that's why I asked that. But just tell us about that moment real quick, because it looked like Nate was asleep before he ever even hit the canvas.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we train for. You know, at the end of the day, boxing's a sport. And, you know, you train to win. And that's what I went in there and did. And I worked hard for this. And, you know, Nate is the one who called me out originally. So
I think he is frozen.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys now.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
my
that's
Wi-Fi is unstable, like my relationship.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
First and foremost, was it racist to knock a black man out? That is the question of the week.
No, stop asking me that. I said no.
It's not racist.
It's a question. It's a sport.
Why is it a question? Why is it a question?
Because how does this have anything to do with race? It doesn't.
It's a fine question. We got to wake you up. You got to be a part of this conversation.
That's right.
Like, because if you can go from
you know what? He just hit himself harder than Nate Robinson ever hit him.
It's the question of the week. Is that racist? This is ridiculous. You know they think it's racist. That's why they keep asking it. They asked that question, I think I counted 5 times, and they do think it's racist. So now, when we're supposed to ignore skin color, a white man cannot box against a black man and win because that's racist. And of course, also, they blame him. They say, oh, Nate Robinson. She says Jamel Hill, the talentless hack, says, oh, he looks like he wasn't awake. He was awake. Jake Paul won that fair and square. But a white man cannot beat a black man in boxing anymore. If you do that, you're racist. So who's seeing race? Who's racist? They are. All right, when we come back, we will talk more about the China spy story and Representative Eric Falwell and his girlfriend Feng Feng. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Bismarck Central, 4800.
4800, go ahead.
Requesting social services on-call team.
Stand by. 4800 social services requesting additional information.
You can advise social services that we have an 18-month-old female who was in a residence with a mother, now being transported to medical care for overdose.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck. Featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Howdy, folks. It's the County Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous County Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie. We'll calm roll that sure put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So on yesterday's show, we talked about Representative Eric Swalwell and this Chinese spy by the name of Feng Feng. She went by the name Christine Feng. She was here for years, and she had years and years of affairs with various politicians. We know for sure that she slept with 2 Midwestern mayors. Their names have not been disclosed, but I do believe we will find out who those mayors are sooner or later. We also know that she had a very close relationship with Representative Eric Swalwell. It's now being reported by Fox News that he actually did have a sexual relationship with her. I surmised last night that he probably did, because why? He would not respond to questions about it. If you didn't do this, you would say, hell no, I never touched this woman. Remember somebody who said that? As I said last night, he said, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Ms. Lewinsky. Remember? And guess how true that turned out to be. Same with this guy. He's not even denying it. He's not even lying about it. He won't answer questions. He's saying that this is all a revenge plot against him by President Trump. Nice conspiracy theory. Nice trying to deflect the blame, but no cigar. In fact, I think everybody knows by now he slept with this woman. What we need to find out is, when did the relationship end and what kind of information he gave her? Because here's the thing. He sits on the House Intelligence Committee. Now, in another day and age, and I've talked about what would happen in another day and age earlier in this show, and it's the same thing here. He would be forced to resign. He would have resigned last night. All right, we'd be waking up this morning to the fact that he had been arrested for being complicit with Chinese spying and being an accessory to that. Why wasn't he? And here's the question being raised by several Republicans, and I think particularly Ashley Graham from South Carolina, because I believe Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, I believe that this is a very good point. He said, President Trump had his campaign spied on when it was suspected he colluded with the Russians. They spied on his campaign. This guy got a defensive briefing from the FBI. In other words, they came and told him, hey, you are involved with this Chinese woman. She's a spy. You need to stay away from her. And that was it. What? They didn't charge him with Chinese collusion like they did with President Trump? like he has been harping on for the last 4+ years about President Trump, that he colluded with the Russians, and he gets a defensive briefing. Lindsey Graham is absolutely correct. Absolutely. Now, Kevin McCarthy, the Republican leader in the House, is saying that he should be kicked off the House Intelligence Committee. Without question. You've got a congressman on the House Intelligence Committee that's sleeping with a Chinese spy, and he's still on there now. And as I said, he should have resigned from Congress last night, and he should have been charged with treason. I'll bet you he knew she was a spy. Come on. I'll bet you he knew. And he probably knew that she had affairs with other office holders. He knew about her relationships with 5 congressmen, including himself. I bet there are more. We will be hearing more about this, I'll bet. It's too bad, though, that the mainstream media, other than Axios, which broke the story, has really kind of not been paying attention. You know, I watched this morning. I watched the Today Show. I watched Good Morning America. I didn't see anything on their morning shows about this. Not a peep. Nothing. No, there was plenty about The Bachelorette and about movies that they're trying to promote, Broadway singers that are out of work who are singing on their show, singing Christmas songs. Nothing about this story. This is major news. And again, in another day and age, this would be the #1 story, and he would be out. But he's still in. All right, now, this is another outrage that I just cannot believe. You know what? Every day I think I'm so jaded I can't hear something that will surprise me again. And every day it gets worse and worse, defining outrageousness and absurdity down to the point where I am surprised. So this is in the St. Anthony neighborhood of Minneapolis, or as I call it, Minneapolis-stan. And in this case, that is an appropriate moniker. An anonymous letter has been going out to all the neighbors because somebody thinks that Christmas lights are not sensitive to the plight of others, and Christmas lights are offensive. Listen to this letter that's been going out. It says, Dear neighbor, I couldn't help but notice your Christmas lights display. During these unprecedented times, we've all experienced challenges which casual words don't describe what we're feeling. The idea of twinkling colorful lights are a reminder of divisions that continue to run through our society, a reminder of systemic biases, really, against our neighbors who don't celebrate Christmas or who can't afford to put up lights of their own. We must do the work of educating ourselves about the harmful impact an outward-facing display like yours can have. This is hilarious. I challenge you to respect the dignity of all people while striving to learn from differences, ideas, and opinions of our neighbors. We must come together collectively and challenge these institutional inequities. St. Anthony is a community welcoming of all people, and we must demand better for ourselves. What? Demand better for ourselves than putting up Christmas lights? This constitutes the inequity of others, that this is has a harmful impact? Are you serious? Listen, I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm Jewish. I don't believe in Jesus. But I respect Christians, and I love seeing their displays. And this is America. We're a Christian country. And maybe we're not as Christian as we used to be because a lot of people have become atheists and lapsed from their religions, all religions except Islam. And yes, maybe we aren't as Christian as we used to be, but America exists because Christians wanted freedom to practice their religion. The same freedom that includes putting up Christmas lights. And if you're too sensitive to look at Christmas lights, I have a tip for you. Move to the wilderness. Or put on sunglasses at night. You know what? If you don't like Christmas lights, too bad. Just deal with it. I just cannot believe the absurdity of people whose feelings are hurt by nothing. We are in the middle of a pandemic. People are out of work. People are starving. People are wondering how they're going to pay for next month's rent or food, or putting food on the table Christmas Eve, keeping their businesses open, those kinds of things. And you're worried about you're not even just worried, you're upset and in your face to other people about their Christmas lights, and you're a coward? You won't even sign your own name? Man, what is this world coming to? I can't believe it. Where are the letters, by the way, to all the TV channels that have Christmas light contests? I mean, aren't they insensitive? Isn't this pointing out inequities? Are you serious? America is about inequities. It's about ambition. We want people to be ambitious, to try and become richer, to build businesses, to work hard so that they can attain the things that they want. It's called free enterprise. It's called the free market. It's capitalism. That's what this country is about. If you don't like it, here's a tip. Leave. All right. When we come back, we'll do some national politics and some North Dakota stories and outer space. We have some news about that. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Beck Lightband Internet is the fastest internet service in North Dakota, outpacing speeds in the largest cities nationwide. Beck Communications planned and built Lightband Internet to bring you a superior, more valuable customer experience. We connect you to family, business, education, and entertainment without restrictions or speed limits. Beck Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at AccordSleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband Internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So we've been discussing Joe Biden's pick for Agriculture Secretary on this show. And Senator Heidi Heitkamp, our former senator, was being considered for this job. She has good relationships with farmers. After all, she represented an agriculture state for several years in the U.S. Senate. But she has been passed over by Joe Biden in favor of an Obama retread, Tom Vilsack. So Tom Vilsack was Obama's ag secretary for 8 years, from 2009 through 2017. He is being brought back for the exact same position. I keep telling you on this show, this is going to be the third term of Obama, only worse. And it's sure shaping up to be that. It's too bad they passed her over, because then North Dakota would really have a direct lifeline. And she's also, as you may know, the sister of my fellow co-host here at Beck, Joel Heitkamp. I do note, though, that not all North Dakota farmers groups supported her. In fact, a number of them wanted Tom Vilsack because he's had this experience for 8 years. They have a good relationship with him, so they're happy with it. And they did say that she did not have that experience. There was one group that was supporting her. In another position, and I've told you, he is under pressure, Joe Biden, to pick only basically blacks, Hispanics, and women. And he is also under pressure to pick other groups that he thinks voted for him, and that includes gays. So Joe Biden is considering appointing Pete Buttigieg ambassador to China. Now, if he had any stones, if he had any guts, he wouldn't appoint him ambassador to China. He would appoint the openly gay Buttigieg ambassador to a Muslim country, like Saudi Arabia or Bangladesh, something like that. But of course, he has no guts. Joe Biden doesn't think outside the box. He doesn't do anything innovative. He's going to pick him to China, and reportedly, according to Buttigieg's claims, he says he speaks Chinese. I don't know. Whenever I do speak several foreign languages, not Chinese, that's one of the more difficult ones, but whenever I hear somebody say that they speak a language, they maybe know a few words. I wonder how fluent he is. Still, I'm sure that'll go over well for like 2 seconds with the Chinese. Then they're going to eat him alive. Listen, the Chinese are our enemies. They are our number one enemy right now. They are controlling a lot of our economy. We've borrowed a lot of money from them. They control a lot of our banks and so on. They are investors heavily in this economy. And there is a problem with sending somebody like him, who has no political experience beyond being a mayor of a middle-sized town in America, South Bend. It's not even that big of a city. Sending him to be ambassador to China, no, that's not a good idea. But Joe Biden is full of not a good ideas. So that's more preview of what we're going to have, unfortunately, for at least the next 4 years. Unfortunately, believe me, I wish Trump were the nominee, but I don't think he's going to be. I mean, the winner, but I don't think he's going to be. Now, Fargo High School, Fargo Woodrow Wilson High School, they have changed the name. Why? Because they say, and we've discussed this in the past on this show, they say that the late President Woodrow Wilson was racist. They don't want to have his name on the building, so they're renaming it Dakota High School. You know what? Like I said, it's more political correctness if we look at every single figure in history from a 2020 lens. They should just change all the names. Just forget about our history. Just try and whitewash it. That's not what you do in a society that is advancing and growing and educating itself for the future. That's not what you do. You don't pave over the past. But that's what they're doing. That's going to happen more and more and more around this country. And it's a shame. Just because a drug addict died, and I'm sorry George Floyd died, and I'm sorry the police officer put his knee on his neck for almost 8 minutes, but that's not a reason to just instantly change everything in America and erase our history. It's dumb. All right, North Dakota State University. There have been Black Lives Matter protests now for days, since last week. Why? Because allegedly there was a racist Snapchat group. It was a Snapchat group where the people announced, we're not racist, but we like white people. And so the people that were students at NDSU who were involved in that Snapchat group, they've been disciplined. And as I have said, listen, I abhor racism. I condemn it absolutely. However, Black Lives Matter is a racist group, number one, and it's a deadly group. We know that from what's gone on this year. Number three, the fact is that the First Amendment is the most important amendment in our Bill of Rights, in our Constitution. And without it, we have nothing. If these people have a Snapchat group, I don't support them for being racist if they are. But they have an absolute right to their First Amendment freedoms. And NDSU is a publicly funded university. I don't think they can discipline students for exercising their free speech in a private group. I just don't. And apparently there are some allegedly other racist incidents. We don't know what those are. This is all Black Lives Matter, race pimping, and trying I read you some of the suggestions the other day. They are trying to make North Dakota State University and the North Dakota taxpayers pay more money for them to have diversity centers, diversity curriculum, diversity officers. Who's going to pay for that? Especially right now. Revenues are down. We have COVID. This is about money. It's about a power grab. And it's about racism. Black Lives Matter is just as racist, probably way more than this private Snapchat group. I'm sorry, but I believe in the First Amendment. Listen, I'm Jewish. I don't like anti-Semitic groups. But I support their right to exercise their free speech. The First Amendment is not about speech you feel comfortable with. It's about speech that disturbs you, that you don't agree with. That's why we have the First Amendment, because I may find something okay. You may find it horrible. You may find something okay. I may be offended. Too bad. That's America. Now, finally tonight, this story has been a major story in Israel and all over the world, and big here in America. So, Chaim Eshed gave an interview with the Israeli publication Yediot Achronot, and he said that aliens have come to Earth, that they've met with leaders of our country and Israel and other major countries, and he said that there's a galactic federation. He said President Trump was going to come out with it, but the aliens said don't do this. They stopped him because they said they want to prevent mass hysteria, since they felt humanity needed to evolve to reach a stage where we'll understand space and spaceships. Well, is this true? Chaim Eshed is very well respected in Israel, but he's 87 years old. For 30 years, he worked for the Department of Defense and was in charge of their space program there. But he's 87, and also he's pushing a book. So take that for what it's worth. Things are not always as they seem. See you tomorrow.